ครับก็ตอนนี้ผมอยู่กับมิสเตอร์มาร์คลิงนะครับก็เป็นตัวแทนจากทาง Niometrics นะครับเป็นเทคโนโลยีที่น่าสนใจมากๆอันหนึ่งที่ทาง S Generation นะครับได้นำเข้ามาเนี่ยนะครับก็วันนี้มีโอกาสจะได้พูดคุยกันนะครับว่าเทคโนโลยี Niometrics เนี่ยสามารถทำอะไรได้แล้วก็ตอบสนองกับเรื่องของเทคโนโลยีและก็ความท้าทายใหม่ๆนะครับในเรื่องของ security สำหรับ network คุณได้อย่างไรนะครับ Okay, so we have Marc.
Yeah, thanks
Just
for
maybe you
inviting.
introduce a little bit about yourself and Niometrics.
Yeah, hi. Hi everybody. My name is Marc. I'm from Niometrics. Now, Niometrics is a network intelligence company. So we have our own network traffic analysis solution. All right, that helps administrators and network owners understand their networks better at the layer 7 level. So we look at application layer traffic and try to paint a complete picture of the network to the administrator, and so that he can make the correct decisions on what to do, how to manage it, how to further secure his network, how to optimize bandwidth. So that is what we call network intelligence. By collecting as much data from your network as possible, you're able to better manage it and to better protect it. Yeah.
So you're saying your product is network intelligence?
Yes.
Okay. So why do we need a network intelligence? Since nowadays we have like firewall, IDS, IPS, antivirus kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Why we need another box into the organizations?
Well, I think it's very good that you have perimeter security to prevent external threats. But if you look at it, there's actually these solutions don't actually address one other thing, which is knowledge about what's actually happening inside the network. If you look at the latest attacks, APTs on RSA, Sony, etc., a lot of them start by implanting malware within the organization. It could be as simple as a phishing attack. All right, you could. Somebody could bring in an infected thumb drive and plug it in. So you can buy the best firewalls, but it's not going to prevent malware or even an insider installing a file sharing software, sharing your company's secrets to the external parties. So there's a whole element of network traffic that administrators are not looking at, and that's the biggest problem right now. Nobody is actually looking at internal networks and see what's going on. Right? Nobody is accounting for application traffic. Whether or not you have locked down your machine, that's one thing. Right? But I think people have the tendency to install third-party software, free software, which may or may not be good. Even last week we saw a couple of news on the network. All right. For example, Microsoft just leaked its source code out for its MSRDP.
The RDP stuff.
Yeah. So
RDP 12,
correct.
20 something.
Correct. So that's the line. You get proper software, which, because their mother companies are being exploited, right? Their so-called white applications are actually becoming grey or even black. So and before that there was PC Anywhere, it also got leaked. So and Norton Antivirus also got leaked. So I think the world is no longer black or white anymore. There's a whole grey element of applications from third parties, and even good applications that are becoming bad in that sense. So
the things that used to be a white thing, but one day it's just turned to be something like a grey thing.
It could be. And a lot of this, how would you? So the question to the administrators: how would I know if somebody has installed such an application, or or using MSRDP or Norton Antivirus or PC Anywhere in the network? It's really very difficult to really chase down every single computer on the network and do an audit to see whether or not they've installed these applications. Now, what Niometrics does is that by just simply deploying a solution, looking at the network itself, it's actually possible to figure out what applications the users are using, what applications are running on servers especially. It could be,
by really looking at the traffic.
And just by looking at the traffic. So now Niometrics we have our own what we call high resolution traffic inspection engine.
Wow, high resolution traffic inspection engine.
Yes, so two things. Let me explain traffic inspection engine. Alright, so Niometrics core technology basically uses a a technology called DPI, Deep
DPI,
Packet
okay.
Inspection. This means
Right.
that we look at each individual packet going through the network. We identify what applications it is,
Okay.
and we identify who's the source, who's the destination, and
Right.
put all this information together in a dashboard kind of view or reporting kind of view for the network owners and administrators
Okay.
to decide what they want to do. Do they
Right.
want to block it? Do they
Right.
want to allow it? So our main technology looks at looks at packets, looks at the payload to determine what kind of applications. Now, what does high resolution mean? Now, high resolution is what we call is our innovation in a
Okay.
way. The question is, with DPI, with previous generation of DPI, they could just provide really general information about, okay, this is P2P protocol, and
Okay.
that's about it. All right, that's what they mean by DPI. But high resolution
High resolution.
DPI means that we can go granularly down to the type of applications. For example, I'm talking about Skype. Okay, you can look at Skype voice,
Okay.
Skype chat,
Yeah.
Skype file transfer.
Most of the available DPI in the market just say, oh, this is Skype.
Yeah, most of them,
Yeah.
I would say. They have difficulty identifying encrypted
But
traffic.
by being a high resolution DPI, you zoom into that
Yeah.
and magnify it and see
Yeah.
what more inside,
Well,
something like that.
we throw a lot more techniques at trying
Okay.
to identify application traffic, and what we believe is that all kinds of traffic going in and out of your network
Okay.
can be accounted for. It's just like an accounting system. If there's a
Right.
debit, there's a credit. Right? If somebody sends a packet of data out of the network, I need
Okay.
to know who is
Yeah.
sending it to, and most importantly, what application is using to send it.
Okay.
All right, because if you look at it, people are using Dropbox in the office.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they are doing P2P,
Yeah.
BitTorrenting, they are doing file
Dropbox
sharing.
is very convenient, right?
Yeah, because it is convenient.
Yeah.
But the question
It's
is,
like opening up some folder in the cloud and then sensitive information just drop it to the Dropbox and they can access anywhere.
so we got two kinds of users.
Yep.
All right, what you really fear are the malicious users
Yep.
who really want to steal information out of the
Right.
network. Then there's another kind of user, which is the negligent
Yeah.
users. All right,
Yeah.
people who don't understand the power of
Right.
cloud technology, of
Right.
file sharing software, and they just do it. They thought that I'll just share with my colleague.
Okay.
Before he knows it, he clicks public folder and he shares to the whole world.
Yeah.
Right? So there are negligent users of applications. So this is
Right.
the reason why we really need to take charge of the network by looking into it and really understanding, what actually is going
Yeah.
on, what applications are being used, who is using it, and
Yeah.
whether or not they have the authorization
Authorization.
to use it.
Yeah. And most of the time, what we found is that most organizations, what they do is doing a very strong perimeters into their network. It's like they put firewall and put like many things, especially the IDS and IPS that they rely on. But unfortunately, that only something at the gate.
Yeah.
But what happened inside, they pretty much have quite no idea.
Yeah.
Until
correct.
they pass to the gate.
Yeah. I think if you want to look internally at the networks, you really have to take a magnifying glass and look at all the applications on it, because we are talking about a new form of application traffic. Not
Okay.
only are we seeing more traffic, we're
Right.
seeing more complex traffic.
Okay.
Right? For example, Dropbox is HTTPS, right?
Yep.
It's encrypted. Right?
Yeah.
Things like Skype is obfuscated as well as encrypted, and it
Yeah.
runs its own custom protocols. So
Ah.
without high resolution DPI, you won't really be able to identify what applications it is
Okay.
and how it actually how it will affect your organization.
Okay.
All right. So there is this need to really account for all traffic, even encrypted
Okay.
traffic as well.
It's interesting when you mentioned about encrypted traffic
Yeah.
and obfuscating traffic
Yes,
kind of
correct.
stuff. I quite in doubt that how
Yeah.
any technology to do perform any analysis over those kind of traffic. What can you do? How can you deal with this kind of encrypted traffic?
Well, of course, we have our trade secrets, but I think generally not every part of the encryption is. We don't actually crack the encryption.
Okay.
Right? But I think by just purely encrypting it,
Yep.
it leaves telltale fingerprints,
Yep.
signatures on what actually is the applications. We
Okay.
don't really have to open up the packets to decrypt the packets to
Okay.
figure out what application it is.
Let's say, for example, like we have Skype, and people understand that Skype is an encrypted traffic, right? If you chat through Skype, it encrypted. So
Yeah.
how can you deal with this?
Well, well, the handshake is not encrypted for sure.
Ah,
Alright,
okay, the handshake.
Then,
so it's like
yeah.
not the whole thing is really encrypted.
Well,
there's
the payload
something.
the payload is encrypted for sure.
Yep.
Alright,
But the first communication.
yeah, first communication is usually not, and from that we can actually tell a lot of things. Of course, we have other techniques that we use to actually do that.
Right.
But I guess at the end of the day, the important thing is that the entire organization really needs to be very self-aware, what we call situational awareness. It needs to know what actually is happening on the networks. I know you have all that perimeter security defending outside threats, but our recommendation is always start from within. You need to understand yourself. You know which are your weak areas. You identify potential abusers. You identify negligent or careless users. Start by doing those things well. And of course, you need to train your users. Don't open up suspicious emails and stuff like that. Then build your security around that. Right?
Okay.
And I think there's this whole concept right now. Yes, you can defend your network, but most importantly, defend your data as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Because right now you have put this kind of technologies into your products called Niometrics. What do you want people to think of Niometrics when they think of what?
Wow. Okay. Niometrics, our product is called Application Recognition and Control System, ARCS for short. And I think when people hear ARCS, they should understand that the company stands for Network Visibility. It means that at any point in time, you have the ability to know what actually is going on the network. Okay. All right, and be able to account for all of that.
Okay. So you have the awareness, what is going on, what kind of application is running across your network. Okay. And then when you know it, you're aware of it, so you can take control.
Yes, you can take control. All right. I mean, of course, that people are always worried about control. But then wait, be self-aware. Understand what's actually going on. So I mean, that's why our slogan is Total Network Awareness.
Total network awareness.
You need to be totally aware of what's happening on the network in terms of the users, behaviors, the baseline traffic. All right, the applications that are allowed to run, who's running these applications. All this will help you form a complete picture of what's happening before you start deploying more defensive measures or putting in place enforcement policies and stuff like that.
Okay, that's very interesting. So if you are to the very last thing that you want to leave out for the organizations watching this video, what you want to tell them about the challenge of their network things, or the things that they need to take a look at and focus on, give priority on today at this centuries.
Wow, focus on. I think every network is unique.
Okay.
They have their own set of requirements. They have their own set of KPIs to say. Okay. So first, really by start understanding your own networks. Start from there.
They should understand more about what is running inside.
Because they will be very, very surprised if you think that you know what's happening. All right. It's usually wrong. That's all I can say.
Until you have the evidence.
Until you have the evidence, you have the correct tools to collect the information and put everything together. Right. Only then can you really make a choice. Don't make any decisions defensively or
assumptions may not a good thing.
Don't assume anything. So rely on hard, solid data. And the data, I must say, you're sitting on it right now. The network is a fountain of information about what's actually happening. So my recommendation is just look closely at that and develop your cybersecurity strategy around that.
Okay. So I think pretty much it for today. And thank you very much, Marc, for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you. That's good.